Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage on a frosty Monday morning. A beautiful sunny morning. Overnight we had a little bit of a surprise. We got about an 1/8 inch of snow, just enough to turn everything white. And it's cold enough today, the sun is having a hard time, well, rapidly melting it. I believe any place the sun hits it today, that portion of the snow will disappear. And probably in the shadows it won't, but I hope to have most of my grass back before the day's over. So it's Monday morning and I need to get back to doing some transmission repair. This TH400, you've seen it in the background of a few videos. It's been hanging on the stand here for a couple weeks while I was doing rear ends and cleaning the shop, but today we need to find out the reason why it's here. It's here because it has a problem. It's been taken apart, I believe, at one other time looking for the problem. And that problem is that when the transmission gets hot, it loses second gear. But when it's cold, it has it. So sounds like it has some type of hydraulic leak. Now, it would be nice if it was in the vehicle, we could hook up the line pressure gauge and see what happens in each gear. It has a trans brake valve body, full manual, so there's probably not a lot of moving parts there. If we had no second gear all the time, I would suggest getting out the old ATSG manual, going to the component application chart. This tells you what's applied or holding in each gear. But just for reference, we'll look anyway. And in second gear, the forward clutch is on. The forward clutch is on in every forward gear. It's not on in park reverse or neutral. And I believe it is 100% because it's driving in first. Second when it's cold, and you go past second into third and it's still doing its job. So the forward clutch, I believe, is out of the picture, not a problem. So that leaves us the intermediate clutches, which I think we're going to find the problem in that area, probably the oil delivery to them, and the sprag or the intermediate roller, depending on what style it has, should have a sprag. It's a racing transmission of sorts, but all we can do is tear it apart and find out. And how far I rip into it from there, or what I find, determines how far I take it apart. Now, when I have to take responsibility for it, I'm going to strip it all the way down and put it all the way back together so it's put back together at least the way I do it, because I don't know what lies beneath. So lots of people request, live action. So I'm going to set the camera up and I'm just going to pull out the pump and a couple drums and the valve body and see if we can spot the problem. So let's set up the camera and do that. All right, are you ready? I'm ready. Got my glasses on. We're going for it. Oh, while I got the 1/2 inch, I suppose if I'm working, I got to talk to you too. I just hit all the 1/2 inch bolts I'm going to encounter. Same with the pan. It's been draining, so hopefully we don't get too much of a mess. Somebody's installed the drain plug in the stock deep pan. I'll just crack that one. Knock it loose. Gravity. Pretty clean. I don't know how long it was together the last time. I don't think it was very long. Just enough to try. I'll grab the spacer. See if we have the correct filter. Nope. When you can see the yellow, that's wrong. We'll get rid of this the drain here. I throw it in the scrap bucket. That's loose. And then it was tight. One O-ring. Just clues along the way. Huh? Let's just see you are right here in this position. The pump comes out. Teflon washers. Excuse me, Teflon sealing rings. That's good. The aforementioned forward drum. Oh, we got a bearing on the end of our hub. Good. Does have a billet hub. You can see that already. I like to grab the direct drum with the fork, pick it right out of there. Five clutches, 5 or 6. Say one bent. Doesn't squeak. That's a good sign. Probably got a good one. Ooh, got a snap ring on it too. Interesting. Clutch intermediate. Just tilt this a little bit. Try not to make a mess. You know how that goes. Interesting, somebody's put a washer right there. In stock form, when there's a spring under here, I like to do the small 1/4 inch bolts first with the valve body. Go out of habit, I'll do that. Obviously a cast iron brake valve body, converted from stock. Does not appear to have gaskets, which I'm always glad to see. I'm curious. The second gear oil goes up through the hole. The case itself right there looks messed up. It's going to come down to something not necessarily going to jump out to the naked eye, but because we know we're looking for a problem. Also has a check ball in the bathtub. Interesting. Glad I spotted that. Clues like that, good way to tell what you actually have for a valve body. But if you don't notice it on the way in, you got nothing else going on. The brake works good and everything, he says. Okay, let's drain her a little bit. And we'll put some air to it and see what happens. Case has been welded. That's not good. It is an 8-bolt case. Had a 6-bolt pump. It does have a case saver. Clutch clearance feels pretty good. Let's get some air and see what happens. All right, I got the air hose. You're going to want to be careful because we got oil, and when you let it back out, it's going to squirt at you. So I just like to gently make sure I'm pushed right in the middle of the bolt, wrap a rag around it. I like to go slow. That air leaking is my, see if I can get it better. Yeah. I'm holding air on it right there. So, judging by the looks of the case, notch missing out of it right there. And it's rough. It's also got a cut plug over here for the dual feed. Definitely an old valve body probably. We've come a long way in valve body technology. I went ahead and took the center support bolt out just to make sure the area under the head wasn't damaged, which is normally the case. When you have a problem with second gear, it's underneath where it tightens down, but in this case, I believe somebody must have been rowdy with the socket. I use a chrome 12 point. This one happens to be a Mac, but I had a Craftsman one, still do for years, but you know, you end up flaring this out. If you have to drive a socket in there, it should be loose, but this hole is messed up. So you look at the plate itself, you can see and feel 3 rings where it joins these 3, and that middle one's dented. I can feel it. It's concave right there where that's pushing out on it. So I believe that's our oil leak. Now, to fix it, I don't know if I'm gonna, I mean, I have to be right when it leaves, it has to be correct, so probably change out the valve body, or at least maybe try to get another separator plate and a different case, and of course strip the transmission 100% to make sure there's not other issues inside. I went ahead and took out the case saver and the intermediate clutches. The Borg Warner, you can still read the part number. 3 clutch, that looks fine. At this point, might as well take the whole thing apart. I've taken the snap rings out. Pull out the lower unit. The threading ring. The band. It was rollarized on the back with no shim, which is kind of odd. Usually there's at least a 10,000 shim. I should have checked the rear end plate, but I will, of course, when I reassemble. I went ahead and popped all the sub-assemblies apart. The pump looks fine. I paid extra attention to the center support and the intermediate clutch piston. That all looked okay. In the high clutch drum, which gets its oil right next to the hole that's in question, again, limited amount of passes or time in this transmission, and the high clutches are already smoking. So a good indication that it's leaking for the apply there as well. This one's blocked off. Second gear's in the middle. That's all messed up. With that plate bent up, the high gear oil's getting diverted as well. And it wouldn't be long for it would have smoked the high gear clutches as well. So I am going to go with the case of the bad case in this case. So we need some work for sure, and put it all back together. And in the transmission business, all you have to do is be 100% right all the time. So there's no comebacks, no pressure, right? Enjoy your Monday. I'll catch you soon.